So after watching 5 seasons of Cobra Kai, the main question I have is, what's next for the show? Now, I think it's inevitable that we will be getting another season, and one of the creators has said there were plans for more than 6 seasons, and whether that means the next season is the final one does remain to be seen. But going into season 6 in particular, there's a lot of stuff from the last season, and by extension the Karate Kid movies, that can be integrated into season 6 as a whole. So let's take a look. Season 5 of Cobra Kai introduces us to the Sekai Taikai, a karate tournament that is said to be even bigger than the All Valley tournament from the Karate Kid movies and past seasons of the Cobra Kai show. Terry Silver tells Kreese about this in the flashback shown this season, and I think the Sekai Taikai is going to have a significant impact on season 6, with Terry Silver locked up and John Kreese now a fugitive. I think despite that, Johnny and Daniel will still want to participate in the tournament. After all, Kim Da-yoon is still out there and might still exist as a threat. So, in terms of how the tournament is set up, I think it's going to be similar to the All Valley from Season 4, with skills competitions along with 3-point matches for males and females. That's not exactly confirmed, but I think we'll likely find out once Season 6 gets further into production. One of the additions to the past season was Mike Barnes, one of the villains from Karate Kid 3, who very much seems to have redeemed himself. With his furniture store burnt down and no means of income, I could see Mike joining LaRusso Auto in the meantime to help Daniel, which could even lead to Barnes himself learning some Miyagi-Do techniques, which would be especially intriguing. There is, however, the possibility that Barnes could become a villain again, with one theory suggesting that Kim Da-yoon might seduce him to secure Cobra Kai's financial stability, with Silver locked up and, as mentioned earlier, Kreese being a fugitive. So the last scenes of Season 5 showed John Kreese making his epic escape from prison. What his plans are does remain to be seen, but I think Kreese may have a plan to get back at Johnny and Daniel after they essentially screwed him over. I think Kreese could even team up with Kim Da-yoon to reform Cobra Kai so it can fight in the Sekai Taikai. But with most of the students turning on Silver, I think Kreese and Master Kim may find some new students that train solely in Kim Sung-young's teachings. And as a quick reminder for those not fully in the loop, Kim Sung-young was the originator of Cobra Kai's form of karate, so that's likely going to be the big threat this season, John Kreese teaming up with Kim Da-yoon to form an even stronger Cobra Kai. Chosen was a big focus of Season 5, and rightly so, as he's a fierce combatant, which he demonstrates by taking on Master Kim's senseis with Johnny. As of Season 5, Chosen, courtesy of Terry Silver, now has a pretty severe injury, which might put him out of action for a majority of the story going to Season 6. I could see Chosen recovering after his injury but not doing karate. But on the other hand, in Season 3 of Cobra Kai, in the aftermath of the school fight and Johnny being kicked out by Kreese, Daniel returns to Mr. Miyagi's home of Okinawa, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, which we first saw in Karate Kid 2. Daniel returns to Okinawa where he reunites with Kumiko and Chosen, 2 characters from that sequel, and it's Chosen who teaches Daniel some lost Miyagi-Do teachings. Eventually, LaRusso used these techniques to defeat Kreese at the end of Season 3, but I could see Okinawa playing an important role going into the next season. With the Sekai Taikai looming on the horizon, Daniel and potentially Chosen might take a few of the kids, namely Sam, Robbie, Miguel, and possibly Hawk, to Okinawa to teach them these lost Miyagi-Do teachings. I say namely these 4 characters because they're the prodigies of LaRusso and Johnny, so I could see them being trained in these old teachings. So this next point has actually been discussed a lot within the fandom, and I wanted to address it. In the fourth Karate Kid movie titled The Next Karate Kid, we meet a new student of Mr. Miyagi's named Julie Pierce, who's actually, I believe, the daughter of someone who saved Mr. Miyagi's life. Anyway, Julie Pierce was a very skilled fighter and quickly became one over the course of that movie. Now, assuming that Creech likely returns with King Dayun, then I could see Daniel learning of Julie Pierce and making contact with her with some extra help training the kids, although there is the possibility that Daniel and Julie may have already met. After all, Mr. Miyagi is sadly no longer with us in the Cobra Kai universe, mainly because Pat Morita, who played Mr. Miyagi, did sadly pass away quite a few years ago. So my best guess is that Lariso and Julie Pierce might have even met at Mr. Miyagi's funeral. So there is the possibility that those two may have stayed in contact. Kim Da-yoon was hired by Terry Silver to help train the Cobra Kais for the Sekai Taikai, but those plans were very quickly derailed once Silver was exposed for cheating and sent to jail for assaulting Stingray. But keep in mind that Kim doesn't really have any legal baggage attached to her, so she could train whatever students are left at Cobra Kai for the Sekai Taikai, or better yet, she might bring some of her students from South Korea, who are solely trained under the teachings of her grandfather, which could pose a considerable challenge for everyone going into this next season. Terry Silver's story was seemingly wrapped up at the end of this season, so I won't be surprised if he doesn't really make an appearance in Season 6 at all, although Silver himself has a pretty big fortune and probably has a very good legal team, so odds are he might even serve little to no jail time at all. I've also seen the theory that Silver might have some kind of terminal illness, which might explain his appearance at the hospital when Johnny and Carmen went for their baby scan. Also, Silver himself wants to leave some kind of legacy because he doesn't have any kids of his own, which is why he wants to keep Cobra Kai alive, but we'll see. Now, like a lot of people, I do believe that Cobra Kai is going to end with this upcoming season, but I do think, like The Walking Dead, the show is going to branch off into multiple spin-offs. Two ideas discussed within the Cobra Kai fandom would be prequel shows for Mr. Miyagi along with Kreese and Silver respectively, but how do you end Cobra Kai and give everyone a happy ending that wraps up their character arcs? Well, here's how I see it. For Daniel, I can see him honouring Mr. Miyagi's legacy with Miyagi-Do Karate itself winning the Sekai Taikai. With Johnny, I could see him retiring from karate and marrying Carmen. Miguel, I'd see him winning the Sekai Taikai, or the boys division, assuming that this competition is similar to the season for All Valley, and then going off to college. And then for Robbie, I could see him taking over Eagle Fang and becoming a karate instructor, much like his old man. For Sam, I could see her winning the girls category at the Sekai Taikai maybe, and much like Miguel, also going off to college. In terms of characters like Tori, Hawk, Dimitri, Kenny, I don't entirely know, but we'll have to wait and see.